So there's a lot of bluefish around in Benito right now. A lot of guys coming in the shop asking how to rig up wire leaders. This is by far the easiest way that I know to do it, and it's the way I do it whenever I'm fishing for bluefish, which I do a lot in Narragansett Bay. Probably my favorite fish to fish for around here are the big gator blues that come around a lot at the end of the summer. So just show you how I tie up my wire leaders, and hopefully this helps you guys. So I'm gonna start this video off a little backwards. Most people have their own way of how they like to get the wire onto their onto their leader. So I'm just gonna get straight how I tie the fly on to the wire leader, because there's a whole bunch of different knots out there that people will use, from clinch knots, which I find if you use a clinch knot, when you go to seat it, you kind of get a weird kick to one side. You don't really get a lot of mobility from the fly because the wire is so rigid. There's another knot out there where you tie like an overhand stopper knot and then another overhand knot. This knot has no overhand knots whatsoever. And it's just a perfection loop. And just go right through the fly, just like that. Then what you're gonna do, you're gonna make your loop right behind left, pinch it, you get your tag in, you're gonna wrap it just like a regular perfection loop, pinch it again, tag in, goes in between the two loops. This is the only tricky part with tying a fly on with the perfection loop. So once you're at this point, you take your first loop you made and you just open it up. You open it up big enough to pass the fly through. I think I passed it through there. There we go. Then you take your standing line and you just shrink that loop right back up. Shrink it up real small. Take your tag in. You don't want to pull tight here. Just want to shrink it as small as you can get. Right, pretty small right there. Then you take your standing line and the fly and you pull. And you'll see. Perfect 90-degree kick out. Perfectly small little loop. It's going to offer tons of movement on this fly. This will never pull out. There's no overhand knots here. Now I'll show you how I'll connect this to my regular leader. All right, so this piece of string here is going to we're just going to call this the end of our leader that we're using. Whether it's a straight piece of mono on a sinking line, or if you actually have a tapered 7.5 foot or 9 foot leader. So this will be the end of our leader. And what we're going to do is we're going to tie a perfection loop. This is the only knot in this whole rig is going to be a perfection loop. So make a loop, right hand behind the left. Wrap around that loop and pinch. So now you have two loops. You just bring tag end up through the two loops, and you just pull this loop through the other one. There's a million videos online how to tie a perfection loop. You don't want too big of a loop here. You can kind of, you can shrink the loop down when you're in this stage. I like to have my loop-to-loop connections, pretty much as small as can be. So yeah, if you did it right, tag end's going to kick out 90 degrees. So that's going to be the loop at the end of our tapered leader, just like that. And you can do this at home. You can tie a whole bunch up or whatever, but these are this is going to be our wire. So I'm just going to take the end of the wire and tie another perfection loop in this. It's called knottable wire, but some knots tie a lot easier than others in this. I found that clinch knots and things like that have a hard time seating without kicking the wire off to the left or to the right. This perfection loop is going to seat correctly every time. Again, make the loop right behind left. We're going to wrap it just like we did. Pinch, tag through the two loops, and then just going to pull it. And if you did it right, you get that 90-degree tag kick out. That's how you know your knot's seated perfectly. So once you get your two perfection loops tied, you just take the wire, Put it over the end of your leader. Take the tag in, perfection loop. Pull it right through, and there's your loop-to-loop connection, just like that. Now I'll just show you how to tie the fly in real quick again. Tag in to the fly. Make your first loop right behind left. Make your second loop, wrap it, pinch, tag in between the two loops. Open up that back loop, pass the fly through, and close that back loop up. Get it nice and close. Pull the standing line, pull the fly. Perfect 90-degree kick out. Great swimming motion. No overhand knots tied in this at all. Easy.